recording, not meeting. Hey there, Brittany.
Hi, how are
Hi
you
there.
guys?
We're well. We're waiting.
Good.
Would you mind if we waited like 2 more minutes to see if anybody
No,
else comes? Because
absolutely.
we have lots of people who signed up, but I hope they're not freezing. Where are you, Brittany?
Can you see me?
Yes.
Let's see. Okay.
Where?
I am
Which
in Pilot
library?
Mountain.
Oh, hello
Yes,
there,
ma'am.
Brittany.
Hi.
Oh, I know that room. We've been in that
This is
room,
the
I think.
downstairs.
Yeah, I've been in there before.
Yes. Caroline, we've done, have you seen our pictures?
Are those Dewey's grandparents?
Yes. Yeah.
Why are Dewey's grandparents there?
Oh.
They just couldn't find a home, so we made them a home. They're a little large, but they're lovely.
Did they give money to the library?
They were quite prevalent in the community, I believe.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yes.
That's funny. Well, I guess because I sent out a link this morning and it
hmm
was the right link. It was this link. I Everybody has it. Well, you know what? She's here on time. If anybody else comes, let's go.
All right.
Okay. Do.
I haven't gotten anything from anybody saying, "Hey, we can't come." So, we can't get in, so let's start it.
Okay. Everybody can see and hear me.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So today we're going to talk about helping patrons succeed using Google Tools. So our LSC team, we can all introduce ourselves. I'm Caroline Freeman.
I'm Jenny Casey.
Lori Special. Hi, I'm. Wait, can you see me? I'm Lori Special.
I think Tammy was muted.
Tammy, you're muted. That's Tammy.
Lovely, lovely, Tammy.
Okay. And then Clarissa is the adult services and digital literacy consultant. So she'll stay on after our program ends. But yeah, so today we're going to explain how to find things in the Google Drive and show some different uses for Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and Google Calendar. So,
Awesome.
all right. So yeah, I mean, this is just a fun warm up, but you could type bingo if you've heard 3+ of these in the past month.
I feel like we don't get many of those,
Oh, okay.
honestly.
What do you feel like is the most common patron complaint with Google Tools?
I feel like, well, the password probably is the top thing, but I
Yeah.
feel like we don't have a ton of people that use Google Tools, at least
Oh, okay.
not since I've been here recently. So,
Yeah. So we asked in the survey, what question makes you sigh? And yeah, what's my password did get
yeah.
5 responses. So that was a really
hmm
popular problem. And lost files, where did it go? Also got 5. What is Google was 2
Oh,
people. And then why or who changed my paper? It was in better order when I worked on it at home. So sometimes there's different formatting problems.
format, yeah.
But yeah, so when a patron says, I saved it, what do we need to ask next?
Um, do we not need to type it in the chat or can I just
You
say
we
it?
You
could
can
we
just
could
talk.
talk.
There's
Yeah.
just us here
Um,
today.
do we need to know like what exactly they did save? Like what type,
Yeah.
is it a paper? What is it?
Yeah, what is it? We could
Yeah.
ask. But yeah, and I think like where did you save it? Because did they save it in their Google account? Did they save
Do they
it
save
to
it
like
on a
their,
flash drive or
yeah.
anything like that? Yeah.
So yeah, we're to figure out where we're going because I saved it. Unfortunately, could have a lot of different directions that we're going
Right.
in. But yeah, so the difference with Google Tools is that they're free and cloud-based.
Mhm.
So this is something that like more people talk about, but I don't think they fully understand what it means. So, Brittany, are you familiar with the cloud?
Yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, so basically it's like storing, so on your computer it's on your specific computer, but on the cloud it's saved on a remote server, so on a hard drive in a data center somewhere, and it pulls
Right.
it from the internet. um,
Mhm.
so it's nice because it's accessible from anywhere at any time. So unlike having it on a specific device, it can be pulled on different devices.
Right.
And 70% of the world's data centers are in my hometown in Ashburn, Virginia.
Oh,
So
wow.
fun fact. um, but yeah, so and a good visual way to see it is like a specific computer has one hard drive, but a data center is a building of thousands of hard drives.
Mhm.
So even though the cloud sounds kind of ethereal, it is just saving it to an actual computer, just not right in
Not
front
there.
of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so these are great for working on the library because a lot of times patrons are like, I want to work on this at home. So this is great that we can easily access it at home and at the library. It's great for lots of different uses. We can create resumes, cover letters, school, planning our schedules, collaboration.
Mhm.
So it's really helpful because we can use it to complete a task, but there's sometimes it can be overwhelming because there's so many things we can do, but we're just
Yeah.
working on helping them complete a task. And if they ask, then we can help them with the other tools it offers, but we just use it for some tasks.
Gotcha.
So, Google Drive. This is the source of most panic, and it is the foundation of Google. But usually the way you might not be able to find a file is because my drive, where it automatically goes, is just your files.
Mhm.
So if somebody shares something to you, or it's not yours, like you opened it on a website or something, it'll appear under shared with me. So that's typically when someone can't find something. Typically, it's because it's under that folder.
Mhm.
So file naming is super important. So I know people always hate to do it, but it's really important to have the really specific names for things. So in the
Yes.
example, I have the dates for things. So you know specifically those were the people that were in Triad Kappa in 2025. So if I'm looking for someone from that year, that's the one I pull up instead of just naming it Triad Kappa members. Might not
Mhm.
be as helpful. And then, yeah, trash is nice because if you accidentally deleted something or you thought you wouldn't need something and then you realize you do want it, it exists for 30 days. So it'll be there for a month before it's deleted, and it won't ever randomly delete files. Usually, if we can't find something, you don't have permission to it, or it's in a different location. So we
Okay.
can see. But yeah, so I went to Google Drive. So you log in with your account, and
Mhm.
then it'll bring you up here. So then you see all your stuff. And then if you want to create something new, you can go here and we can create something new from here. Or also we can open it in the dots menu up here to,
Mhm.
whoop, and I'll move my thing. You can see all the different options of things that we can open from here. So we can start with docs. But yeah, so do, 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 do. So if somebody said, my resume is gone, where would be the first place that you would check? And how would you explain how we're going to find it to the patron?
You would check the drive, correct?
Yeah, so we could check
Okay.
in the drive. So
Mhm.
where would you check in the drive to find it?
Um, my drive,
Yeah,
right
so we
under
could check
home,
my drive because they probably created it. And I have a bunch
hopefully.
of folders to organize things. But yeah, and we can also just search resume too and find
Mhm.
it. And so I've got a lot of different resumes, but I tried to make them specific with like dates and things. So
Perfect.
you could do it that way. But yeah, and I don't know, maybe if someone was helping them with their resume, it might be under shared with me. So then you could
Right.
check there and see if it was under shared with me. So those are different places we can look for it. But having the really specific name helps a lot for finding it
Mhm.
later. So then sharing and permissions, another reason we might not be able to find something is if I go to Google Docs, we open the smoothie one. So sharing and permissions is in the top right corner
Mhm.
with the globe symbol. And so we can click on that and we can see who this document is shared with. And if we wanted to add a new person, we could click here and then type in their email to share it with them. So right now it's shared with Jordan Goings. And so if I wanted to, he has comment access, but I could
Okay.
change that to viewer access so he can just see the document as it is, but he can't make any changes. But the thing about sharing is it does update my changes. So it will update things I'm changing to it. But with viewer access, he wouldn't be able to do anything. But comments, he can add comments that'll appear to the side of it. If he had edit access, it's basically like the same as me, where he can make any changes to the document. I can even
Okay.
transfer ownership to the document if I wanted to do that, or I can remove him if I decided I wanted him to make comments, but I don't want him to see the new things I'm doing to this, so I'm going to take him off it. Of course, another big thing why we can't typically open things is the general access. So it automatically will do restricted.
Oh.
So that's only the people you share it with can open it. But a lot of times for the library, we're posting things on social media and we want
Mhm.
anybody to be able to open it. So it's always important to remember to change it to anyone with the link since it'll default to restricted.
Restricted. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think a fun low-tech way of thinking about it or explaining it to someone is like a house. So like if you give someone viewer access, they can look through a window. If they have commenter access, it's like if you invited someone in so they can be like, "Oh, I like how you put the couch over here," but they're not going to lift your couch. Versus an editor would be someone coming in and like an interior designer who's actually moving your furniture around. So
I
those are
love
kind of
it.
different levels of thinking about it.
That's great.
And then, yeah, so Google Docs is great because there's so many different things we can use it for. So, like, this is a cookbook in Google Docs, which is a lot of what I use it for. But there's so many different templates. We were looking at those, and like, you can do a pet resume for like a
Oh,
shelter where you can like talk about the pet's bio. But there's lots of different templates that you could explore in here. The resume ones are super nice for helping people at the library. You can even do a cover letter with some of these letter ones. But yeah, you can make a cookbook with the recipe. So there's lots of
mm.
different templates you can explore with the Google Docs.
We just
But yeah,
helped someone write an obituary on Google
yeah,
Docs. Yeah.
you could do
And
that too.
then gave access to quite a few people in the family so they could mend it however they chose to. So
Oh yeah,
the
that's really
possibilities are
nice.
endless.
But yeah, you could all collaborate on the obituary. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then share versus download. So share is like when they have the online access to it. So any changes you make, they'll be able to see. But download is giving a frozen version of it, kind of like a PDF. So they won't, if you make any changes, they won't get those changes. They'll just get that version at that time.
Okay.
So to download it, if we wanted to do that, you go to the top left for file and then download, and then it gives you all of the different options of how to download it. So typically, when I would do this, people get very overwhelmed by all those different options. But 99% of the time, we're just going to be using Microsoft Word and PDF.
Okay.
So, and then after you download it, so we can download it right now. Typically you're on a browser, so it'll show up on the three dots menu, or on here I'm using Edge, so it appeared in a downloads menu so that I could open it. And sometimes too it won't come up because pop-ups are blocked, so sometimes you have to
Mhm.
allow pop-ups for it to come up. But yeah, so then there it is, and then it's also in my downloads so I could email it to someone. But yeah, so but yeah, so typically we don't have to understand all of them, but we're just picking the one that works for what we're doing today. But if you wanted to know what the file types mean, so
Mm.
Microsoft Word, and I'll present to make this bigger. Microsoft Word is if you're sharing with someone who uses Microsoft Office. So if we specifically were sharing it to someone who uses Office and we wanted them to make changes, we could send it that way. PDF is typically the one that people are using for job applications because we want to send them a frozen version of our resume. We don't want the person to be able to make changes to our resume. So most of the time people are downloading as PDF because they're sending it to someone they don't want to make any changes. ODT is open document format. That would be if we're sending it to someone who uses LibreOffice, which is another word processing software, or Linux. So if the person you were sending it to used those, you could send it that way. Plain text, TXT, is just the literal text. So there's no font, there's no bold, there's no colors or layout. It's just the words. So that one might be if we're like copy and pasting text and we don't care about colors, or if you're having it read by an audio text reader, that we might have it do that way. Or visual impairment reasons, if some of the colors are hard for people to read, or fonts. Or if we're just trying to print and we just want black and white, very simple, we don't care about colors for printing. RTF is rich text format. That one would be, it actually takes away fonts that were in later versions of computers. So if we're sending it to someone who's pulling it up on Windows 98 or 2000, and we want it to still be able to be readable to them, it'll change it into fonts that were used on older computers so that they'd still be able to read it on an older computer. And then HTML is if we were posting it online, so it'll turn it into a basic website so we could see how the formatting would look like on a website. EPUB is for turning it into ebook accessible. So if we were sending it to an e-reader, you'd be able to open it on your e-reader as an EPUB file. And then markdown.md is for writing websites or coding platforms. So PDF, we most familiar with this one, so that's how that looks. We can't make any changes to it. It's just the frozen version of it. And then TXT version of it, so you can see it looks a lot different. It's literally the black and white typewriter style text. There's no bolding, there's no colors. It's just the words. And then an HTML version. So it has my formatting, but it's on a website instead of on a document. So if we wanted to do it that way. So how do we choose the file type? You have to think about, who are we sending it to? How are they going to open it? Would it hurt if the formatting broke? So do we really want to make sure they get that same color, that same font, or does that not matter if it comes up that same way? Is this our final version we're sending it to them, or do we want them to make changes? And then, so which one would you pick? So for a job application, which one would you download it as?
PDF.
Yeah, PDF, because we don't want the job
that's
to
not-
make changes. And then, we don't want plain text because we might want our formatting for resumes. They're very formatted.
Right.
If we were emailing it to our friend to make changes, which one would we want to do?
Office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably Office. We're assuming our friend has Office, but if our friend has Office, we'll send it to them in Office. If they don't, then we could use Google, or if they use the Libra, we could use that ODT format. So whichever one they have, but probably they have Office. And then if we were printing it out at the library, which one would we use?
I would say PDF.
Yeah, so most people do PDF because they want to make sure that their formatting stays the same.
Looks great, yeah.
Yeah, but this one is kind of open, depending on what situation, they could use all kinds of different files for this one. And then editing versus suggesting. So that's on if we gave someone edit access to our document, then it has, and they open it, it has this pencil in the top right. And then we can use that pencil to decide whether we're going to edit or suggest. So if we edit, we just make the change directly to the document. But if we're suggesting a change, then I'm suggesting to take out the kale. Then instead of it deleting the text, it'll just put the strike through it, and then it'll add on the side the change that I suggested to make to the smoothie document. So it'll say, Caroline suggested to delete 2 cups chopped kale. And then you can add comment to explain. So I said, I hate kale. And then the person, when they open their document, they'll see a check or an X. So if they see your thing and they're like, yeah, I don't think we need kale for the smoothie, they can click check and it'll delete the kale. Or they can say X and it'll go back to how it was and take off the strike through. So it's a way of, if you're making changes to a document with a friend, but you don't know if they'll like that change, you can do it that way so you're not directly changing their document.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so typically patrons, they get stressed if they can't type on a doc. So it's important to say that, this happens all the time. You didn't do anything wrong. It usually is because they have view-only access. So usually you need to request it from the person, or it might be the wrong Google account. So commonly at the library, we all have our emails and the library has its own email account. So you might have shared it with the library account, but not your coworker,
Right.
and your coworker
Yeah.
opens it up and they don't have access. So making sure you shared it to everyone it needs to be shared to, or logging out and logging into the one that has access. Or if it's a PDF and not a doc. So then you might need to ask them to send it to you as a doc and not a PDF.
Okay.
But yeah, so Google Sheets. So Google Sheets we can think of as lists first, tables second, and then math later, or maybe never. Because you can, yeah, you don't have to. I think people think that they have to know math for it, but you don't. You can really just use it for making lists and tables. So a lot of common uses are budgets, attendance, meal planning, travel itinerary, and comparison shopping. But yeah, there's many different things we can use it for. So I've moved, and so you can use it for comparison shopping for a move. So I made this spreadsheet and I have names of apartment complexes. I have, the time travel to jobs. I have rent, square footage, and then the cost per square footage. And you can, I love color coding. That helps a lot visually. So we can see the red is the smaller ones and the green is the bigger ones. So really quickly and easily, you can look at this and see the rent's cheaper, but it's a smaller space, and decide, looking at that visually, which ones make the most sense. But yeah, so that can be a use. You can use it to make itineraries. So when we went to New York, we just made different columns for the times, and then the different rows were the dates. And then you can put in the things you want to do those days and color code it. So that could be another use for it. And then one of my favorite things I use it for is meal planning. So, and this uses one of the math functions. So I'll go to Sheets. So this is my meal planner. So the common drama in my household is about deciding what to make. So this spreadsheet uses the RAND function. So, and this is the function. You don't have to know this function. I got it from a guide online. But basically what it does is I have these columns. So like for eating out, I have a column of a bunch of different places to eat out. And then when I type in one of my cells and then go away, it'll randomize it. So then it'll pick the Quiet Pint Tavern. And so then if I don't want to eat at the Quiet Pint Tavern, I can take that away, and now it's Burger King. So, so sometimes we could use this to decide where to eat out. But I also use it for meal planning recipes. So I have it sorted by type of meat. But I saw this from a TikTok, and she had it by cuisine type. So you could do like Mexican, Italian, American, and then have it pick different recipes that way. But so this could be,
love that.
yeah, so this could be a fun use of the RAND function. I love the RAND function. It's so nice.
That's awesome.
I never use it, but I did make one that's a bad day buster. So this one you can just randomize things to do if you're having a bad day.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
So there's
taking
lots of fun
notes.
things we could do. And I think these could be fun for a library program too, because I think, people think that Sheets is just boring doing math, but there's lots of fun shopping and things we can do with the sheets.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and then so we could show. Do you have you used sheets much?
I don't do it a ton,
So you
but
could just
now I
show.
will.
Yeah. So you could just show some common functions. So I'm gonna make a basic one about different books, and then so we'll say Dobson, Elkin. No, I spelled Charles H. Tolkien and Mount Airy. And then we could say Nancy Drew, Dogman, also Dogman, and Hardy Boys we said earlier, and Hoot. And then we'll say missing, lost, in transit, lost, missing. So then for this spreadsheet, typically when we're looking at these, it's a very long list of books. So when we're looking at a long list, a helpful thing to do is to freeze a row. So we go to view and then freeze and then one row. So then when we're scrolling, it'll keep those at the top. So that's very helpful for a long list of things. And then other things, drag to autofill. So if we were doing like a series of dates, if we were doing, go back, May 1st, May 2nd, May 3rd, I don't have to type out the rest of the dates. I can just drag and it'll autofill them. But you can do that for numbers too, so you don't have to write a long list of numbers. You can just do 1, 2, 3 and drag it down and it'll autofill them. Other things, so sorting. So if we had this list, we can highlight the whole thing and then do data and sort range and advanced. And we're going to say it has a header row, which is always important to catch because we don't want it to sort the library book title status. We want that to stay at the top. And so we'll say we want it to sort first by library and then by status. So that's helpful that we can sort things by multiple categories instead of just one. And then we can sort and then it'll put them all together. So all of Charles H. Stone's are together and then they're all separated by status too.
Awesome.
And yeah, and then the sum. So of course you can use sheets to do math. So if you're making like a budget of something and you were like, this thing costs 39 and this thing costs 24, what is my total? We can highlight them. And then the sigma for functions is where you find the math things that sheets can do. So we'll click on that and then we can say, so there's many, many, many things that sheets can do. So it is kind of fun to look at all of the different things that sheets can do for you. I like the date ones. Those can be, let's see, where were those? Oh, they're up here. The date ones can be interesting to look at. Like you can do work days until. So if you're figuring out how many work days do we have to get this done, you could put 2 dates down and then it'll calculate how many work days between those 2 dates. So that could be helpful. But we're just going to do, they have the most common at the top. So we'll do sum and then it'll say the sum of A8 to A9. So it's A8 and A9. And we can do enter. Oh, not March 3rd. It must be because I had the dates in earlier. So 39, I won't do that much. And then highlight. And the sum. And then, why is it still doing dates? Must be because it has the date formatting in that column. Which I can. Yeah. So then these must be date format. So you can actually fix that. We change it back to number. So it was under the format of date. So it was adding them as if they were dates. But yeah. So the sorting alone makes you feel like a wizard when you do that. But then Google Slides. Most people are really familiar with Google Slides. It's pretty simple, but many uses for Google Slides too. You can use it for community meetings, church services, work meetings, classes, workshops, but you can even use it to make affirmation cards or flashcards, posters, and collages. So lots of different uses for Google Slides. And then typically the stress with slides comes from, will they work somewhere else? Because typically someone's presenting somewhere else than where they created it. So for this, there's a couple options you can do to make sure your formatting stays working. You can download it as a PDF, so it saves that frozen version of your formatting. You could download it as PowerPoint if you think the place you're going will have PowerPoint. You could share the link with the person that you're presenting with, so that they can pull it up from their account. So, this means that they're scared it'll break, but you can reassure them and give them different options for how to upload it. So then Google Calendar is great because it's an online collaborative calendar. So it can be used for appointments, virtual meetings, medication reminders. It's great for caregiving schedules. So if you're co-parenting with someone or taking care of an elder relative, you can share calendars with each other to figure out who can take care of Junior when. So that can be really helpful. Work task reminders, and then even use it for TV show reminders. So Bridgerton is coming out this week, so I've got that on my calendar. So, but
Hey,
mostly it's just,
Caroline,
oh yeah.
we watched it on Saturday.
Cool. Um, so yeah, so it's great for collaborating with multiple people. So, and I think it's fun too to do the tasks. I mean, not fun, but helpful. That you could put a task that you're getting done and it has the circle. And so when you click on it, it'll get rid of it once you've completed that task. So that can be helpful because a lot of times I'm putting stuff in my calendar that isn't really an event I'm going to, but just a reminder that I need to get something done by a certain time. So, Leanne. So always important to ask, assess, assist when we're helping people with Google tools. So ask to find out their goal, assess to figure out what we need to complete, and then assist to complete this task. So always important to narrate what we're doing, use plain language, let them drive. We're a guide, we're not a mechanic, so we're letting them drive the car and explain why helps build their independence. So if a patron came in and said, I don't have a Gmail account, how would we talk through helping them?
We can go to Google and get them set up with a Gmail account. I think they do better when you kind of show them what you're doing and what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would just sit down at the computer with them and go through the steps, explain slowly while we're doing it, and stop and ask if they have any questions randomly to
Yeah,
make sure
so
they're
there's
understanding.
mm-hmm. So yeah, the I don't have a Gmail account is starting at the very beginning. So that one will
Yeah.
be more hands-on with showing them and like you said, explaining like how we're doing it and why we're doing it, is a lot of getting the account set up. Because I know a lot of times people are like, why do we have to put my phone number down? And so explaining that it's so that if you can't remember your password, we'll have a way to get into your account. And then I want to use the Google tools on my phone. So how would we help someone with that?
We can see if they already have them downloaded on their phone. I know some phones will have them pre-programmed already.
Yeah, so if it's like a Samsung or Pixel, it might
Mhm.
automatically have them on there. But yeah, if they have an iPhone, then yeah, we might download them. But yeah, figuring out what phone they have and how to get through that.
Mhm.
And then I kind of revealed this one, but if they forgot their Google password, how do we go about helping?
Um, would we ask them about their email, like the basic information first, what they know?
Mhm. Yeah, so yeah, you could say your email, and we try to log in that way. And then typically it does ask for a recovery phone. So then
Right.
it'll send like a text or a call to that phone. And
Mhm.
hopefully they have that phone with them.
Yes.
If someone accidentally shared their cookbook with a coworker and they didn't mean to do that, how do we go about fixing that?
You go to the, is it to the drive? You change the sharing, like who can have access to it?
Yeah, I don't. Can we do it through? Oh, we can.
Maybe
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
So yeah, so we could do it that way. So we could go to the drive and find it, and then you can right click on it, and then share, and then
Sure.
click on share, and then we'd say, oh, I don't want him to have access. So then we'll remove
Remove.
access, and then it'll strike through the name, and then we save because yeah, I feel like a lot of people will probably click off after that,
Mm-hmm.
and then he is gone, so he's no longer have access.
Hey, Caroline,
Mhm.
can you do that again? That went really fast.
Sure, yeah. So we'll share. Let me re-add. So he has edit access and he can now make changes to my smoothie recipes. But I didn't actually want that to happen. So then now I can right click and then share and then click share again. And then he's on there and I don't want him to be on there. So then I change it to remove access. And then it'll be striked through his name, but that's not the last step. We still have to save for him to be removed. So then I'll save, and then now he's gone.
Hey, Caroline, this is Lori again. So if I don't remember how to right click, is there a menu somewhere that will tell me how to do that?
Yeah, so if we were in the document itself and I saw that Jordan had made a change I didn't want him to change, then you can also click on the share up here, and then it would be the same that we would do again. So I'll give him access again. And then, so now he'll be in there. And then if I didn't want him to have access, then I change this again to remove access. And then same thing, I save to get him off. And then now he's gone. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Um,
you. It takes me a little while. I can't go as fast as you young things.
yeah, I know. I go fast. And then I have two Google accounts, and I don't know which one has the file. How would we help someone with that?
Can you go to My Drive and aren't you able to sign into both of the accounts if
Ooh,
you have
I don't think so, but
two?
if you,
Yes,
No.
you can. You can in the upper
oh,
right hand corner.
okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So,
something that the old lady knows, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's only because I use Google Docs for everything for my business and my personal. So you can just you can toggle between the two, but it has to be set up that way beforehand. So if you don't
Yeah.
have two accounts, you're not going to be able to toggle between the two.
Mm-mm.
But I would be able to toggle between the two. Your portrait up in the upper right hand column.
Hmm.
Yes, you'll go to sign out and then you'll sign into your other account.
Mhm.
That's how you do
Okay,
it.
okay. So you just, I thought you guys were saying like you could view stuff from both of them on the same drive.
No, I have two drives. I have one
Oh,
for
Yeah.
okay.
Vic and Spade and one personal.
I
Okay, so
that
then,
happens. This is Lori. I have that too for my Outlook. I have one for the state and one for UNCG, so I can see them both. But there's an icon that you can click on. It shows me two icons, and I can click on the one that I want. But that's only when I'm in Outlook.
okay. So then, yes, that would be an easy way of toggling between the two if we had them log into both, and then you could have the icon here and then click on it
Mhm.
to go to the other account. But yeah, and then it says I don't have permission. So then what would we do?
It's in probably the only you can view it, so you would ask permission so that you're able to
Hmm.
make
Yeah,
changes or do anything.
and so that'll send an email to that person, and then they can
Mhm.
decide to give access to you or not. Okay.
Does
So then,
anybody at this
mhm.
point, does anybody have any questions? comments? Let's
Okay.
keep rolling.
Okay. So then some helpful resources. Um, North Star has the module on Google Docs, so that could be a really good starting point. And then I think, like I said, it's also helpful just to explore the different templates they have in Google Docs, slides and sheets, to see all the different ideas of things you can make with it. Because that's how we found the pet resume. Because that was kind of interesting. We were just going through the templates, and I was like, "What even is that?" And we opened it and found out about that. But yeah, W3 Schools is a great resource for guides on how to use Google Sheets, the different functions in it. Statology is one that's specifically for spreadsheets. I used that one to figure out the RAND function for Google Sheets, but it also has guides on how to use Microsoft Excel, and MongoDB is another spreadsheet software. And then the Goo Docs is a website. It is for profit, so they'll let you do, I think, 3 or 4 a month, and then they'll ask for money. But you can use that to find prettier templates of Google Docs and Sheets. Slides Go is a great one for finding templates for Google Slides, but it's the same thing as Goo Docs, where they only let you do 3 or 4 a month before they charge. So, but can be a helpful place to get pretty versions of them. You're just limited on quantity. But yeah. And then next time on, we'll be talking about social media. So that'll be a lot to talk about there.
Yes.
And that'll be Monday, March 23rd at 1.
Okay. That one will be exciting,
Yeah.
I think.
But yeah, is there anything to do with Google tools that we didn't talk about that you have questions about or want to see how to do?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and I'm over at the Robinson County Public Libraries.
Mhm.
One thing that I'm struggling with is we also have multiple Google Doc and Google Drive accounts.
Mhm.
I have one for work, personally, and then I have one that's just for library staff, and that's the one that we use to make our desk schedule. So one thing is, what is like the best practice to go about maybe copying a spreadsheet with Google Sheets? Because I've run into the problem of where I made a copy and it deleted my previous desk schedule. And I don't know, I had to go through and really dig to recover it because it was like my January schedule just went away. And while I was making my February schedule, and I don't know if I just did it in the wrong.
Yeah. So how I would do it if we're so like if these yeah, we can use the example of January and February. So these are January books. And if I wanted the same formatting, I would do file and then make a copy. And then I could say this is Feb books now and share it with the same people if I did have it shared with a ton of people. And then make sure make a copy. And then now it's the same and it's Feb. So then I would take these out and I could put what the February ones were. Is,
Okay,
is that how you were doing it?
I thought so,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think I know that like up in the top right hand corner, like you have one account that is um open. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
one. And then there's another one, I think,
Mm-hmm.
that is for the whole entity of like Google or something, like when you first open up the Google icon or something. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was one where it was different. And that may have been where I messed up. I don't know. I haven't done it since then yet, hopefully.
Hey,
But
Lauren.
if it happens again, I will try and restart and just like re-scratch, I guess, everything again and see if I can. I was still able to recover it because of the autosave function, which is
Mm-hmm.
helpful. But
Yeah.
um anyway, yeah.
So then, yeah, if I accidentally, I can restore. So that's awesome. So that's also a really good thing that, yeah, we didn't talk about, is that it does keep the older versions. So you can change it to an older version if you didn't like the change.
Yeah. Or if
Yeah.
you lose it like I did.
Yeah.
So
And then, Lori, you were saying something?
I wanted to find out with the restore function, is that like when you put things in the trash, it only keeps it for, does it keep it for 30 days or does it only keep it until you log off?
No, it keeps it for a long time. Because, yeah, I've looked at ones that like, I don't think the smoothie ones I make a lot of changes with, but like the cookbook, I do make a lot of changes to that one so we can see where my edits are for that one. Why is it loading? There it goes. Okay. So, like, if I wanted to, I could
Wait,
pull
you
up.
I can't see where your cursor is. So oh, it's over on the right. Okay.
Mhm. So, like, I can go way back. Um, so I don't know. It is kind of wild how much it stores because, like, I don't know, but like, I can go all this. Like, I can see like the earliest version of it. So I'm even like a year ago, the version of the cookbook I could pull up and restore it to that version if I wanted to. Yeah, so it looks like I guess it saves a year of changes because then it goes to the 26th and then there's no more changes. So as long as what you're trying to restore was less than a year ago. But yeah, Lori, you have another question?
No, I just haven't taken my hand down.
Oh, okay. So was that helpful?
Yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, so that's pretty wild that it'll store up to a year. So if I wanted to, we can go back to, which I guess that was when I made it. So maybe even it stores even before then. It even says the times too. So if I specifically wanted what I did at 11:52, it saved that version. And then I added pictures and some recipes at 109. So that's what it looked like at 109. So,
This is Lori again. While we still have some time,
mhm.
are there any, like Lauren provided her question, are there any problems, issues, challenges, questions you all have had either using Google tools, Google Suite tools, or helping patrons? Now is your time. Ask us anything.
I wasn't
Carol,
familiar with
Mhm.
Google Sheets a lot, but you, Caroline, taught me a lot about that today, so that was helpful.
Caroline, you want to go back and do a quick recap of that Google Sheets part?
Yeah, so um is this part what you're talking about?
Oh, you were
Yes.
good. You taught me a bunch, but that'd be awesome if we could go through it again.
Yeah, so I think the main thing about Sheets is I think people think it's just for doing math, but there's so many other ways that we can use it to organize many different things. So you can think of it mostly as actually lists and tables. So it's most helpful for organizing that. But yeah, we can use it for budgeting, attendance, meal planning, travel itineraries, comparison shopping. So we can even see like um, all kinds of things. Like my friends made this movie one where they have a crazy movie collection. So they've made this spreadsheet of all the movies they own. So they even have it by runtime. So if you
Oh,
wanted
wow.
to, if you were like, I only have an hour, then you would know which movies only take an hour to watch, and the genres and where is it. So a lot of times when people have a big collection of things, it's helpful to say where the thing is so you can find out, oh, it's in the purple case. They
Wow.
even have they even put who's watched the movie so they can say that both of them have watched it or just Anne watched that one. So if you're keeping track of who's seen, because I know my dad always has that problem where he's like, I've never seen this movie. And we're like, yes, you have. But so you can use it for that. But yeah, I also I'm very pale, so I have a sunscreen spreadsheet
Oh
where
my
I've
God.
put in different sunscreens and their
That's amazing.
SPF and active ingredient, whether it's mineral or chemical, and a cream and where to buy, price. So that could be helpful. I've seen people make ones for their lipstick collection, where that could be helpful for the color coding because they have these things selected by color. So if you wanted to know what kind of red lipsticks I have, you could have them all sorted by color. But yeah, or you have a question?
Yeah, so this acts just like a regular spreadsheet. So if I wanted to search for something or if I wanted to sort them and
Mm-hmm.
categorize them in a certain way, I can do that here.
Yeah. Um, so if I wanted to, I could highlight all of it and then I could say data, sort range, and then I could say advanced, and I want to say header row, and I want to sort it by type, and then I want to sort it by price because I want to find, let's say the chemical sunscreens that cost the least. So then I could sort, and then now all of the chemicals are together and they're all sorted by price. So I can see that the cheapest chemical sunscreen is the Trader Joe's sunscreen for $9. Or if you're looking for mineral, the cheapest mineral is on my list is the Baby Bum mineral for 15. So that could be a helpful way of sorting it. And then if I didn't like how I sorted it that way, I can undo and it goes back to the original way I had it. But yeah, so that can be a really helpful way of doing it. Or if I specifically was like, I'm at Target and I only want to look at the ones that are sold at Target, then I could also do data and I could do advanced, header, and then where to buy. And then now there's only two, but there's two of them that I could find at Target. So then I could look at those two and see if I'm interested in those. But yeah. And some of them I haven't done, so they're just blank. But if I want to do it, I just click on it and then I select it's a cream and then it changes. But yeah. So did that answer your question?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
But yeah. Oh, Lori, you have another question?
Um, no, I just forgot to put my hand down again.
Okay. But yeah, many different things we could use it for. I don't know, other things. But yeah, I have
I do
like,
have another question.
yeah.
How long did it take you to do the randomization for the random meal planner thing?
Mm-hmm.
How long did
So
it take you to get that done?
it did take me a while because I had to figure out how to find the function. Because annoyingly, the TikTok I found, she didn't say the function. But once I found the website with the guide, so we can go to, I think I'll do statology. Statology rand function. Oh, we want. I did find it on Statology, but yeah, I think the funny thing is, I think when you find the function, it doesn't take a long time because then you basically, I copy pasted the index filter and then we want D2 to through D. So that's pulling from this column is, so I don't want it to pull eating out because, oh, whoops, undo, because that's one of, that's just the category. So I said D2 through D. which will just pull all of the things in D after D2. So then I just put that in again there, and then the count is D through G. So you just put that in there, and then once I have things in the D column, it'll pull from there. But the hardest part was finding the formula. But now that I know the formula, then I just copy and pasted it to the other ones, and I just changed the letters to the column that I wanted to pull it from. So it doesn't take a while once you have the formula, but finding the formula can be a lot of trying to find it.
Hey, Caroline, I found something in online.
Mhm.
Was it how to randomize a list in Google Sheets? Maybe.
Was that on? Take you away.
I put it in chat. It's the link right there. Oh,
Okay.
there you go. That's that's not the one I found. But I
Yeah,
think
you
the
found one
directions
first.
might be the
Oh,
same.
skip. That would be if you wanted to scramble things in a list. So that's not pulling a
Okay,
random
that's not
option.
it.
But yeah, but I can find it. It'll take a while to find the
We
thing.
will find it and send it in an email.
Yeah, so it is kind of funny that for some reason it's difficult to find the function, but once you find the function, it's really easy to just change it to the different columns. So, how do we want to randomly hit all of it? Yeah, ran between an index. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so this is where I got it from. That's the guide on how to make it. So I could post that in the chat. But yeah. And
Thanks. Well, we've got 1 minute left. So, Caroline, would you like to wrap us up?
yeah. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for showing all the different things that we can make with the Google tools. And I hope you guys join us for our next session on social media on Monday, March 23rd at 1. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.